Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Each episode is about a specific movie, and we'll get to this episode's movie in a little bit. But first, next episode is the fan vote. So make sure you get your movie recommendations in before the next episode to possibly see your movie on the list. So it's during Tay's episode that we do the fan vote. So as long as you get the movie in either through YouTube comments on the latest episode of Film Freaks, or email ff.filmfreaks with a Z at the end at gmail.com, or in the Discord on the Fair Nation Discord, link in the description in the movie stuff section. Get a recommendation in by next week or next episode in 2 weeks, and you may or may not see your movie on there. We could always use more recommendations, so bring them on. All right, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves before we talk about the movie. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I'm here with...
Greedy waffles.
Taymation.
Ray positivity.
Ray, how positive are you after having a positive COVID test?
Ooh.
Been positively miserable. But I can slowly feel like my senses coming back, like my taste and my smell, so that's nice. Other than that, I'm really tired.
Well, if you start sleeping during the podcast episode, we understand.
If you hear snoring, no, you didn't. No, I'm okay. I'm a lot better than I was a week ago, so
Well, good.
we're on the up and up.
Yeah, glad you're on the mend. How's
I
everyone
don't
else doing?
recommend
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Hope everyone had a good 4th.
I mean, it was a day for sure.
Just another day, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Although I did watch today's movie on it. On that day.
See?
Oh, so
Yeah,
there you
that
go.
Actually, you
Yeah,
gotta
that
start the
would-
movie like 2 days before. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got started on July 2nd.
That's right.
True. I forgot about that bit and I started it on the 4th, so sue me.
Well, I started it on the 14th. So,
Yeah.
Greedy, how was your birthday?
It was good. It was alright.
Okay.
It was on a Tuesday, so it's not like, just another day.
Just another day,
Feel
just
like-
like July 4th, just another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having an early week birthday during the early week, kind of sucks. But oh well.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday birthdays, even Wednesdays sometimes. Thursdays and Fridays is where it's at.
Yeah. Get wasted on the
Get
Friday. All right.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the movie. Greedy, go ahead and introduce it for us.
All right, so it is July, and July 4th is what we referenced, and that day is known as in America Independence Day. This movie is from 1996. It is directed by Roland Emmerich, written by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich. Little synopsis: the aliens are coming, and their goal is to invade and destroy Earth. I love how it just says the aliens are coming. Sorry.
Oh, they're coming.
Fighting,
all right.
They're coming.
fighting superior technology. Mankind's best weapon is the will to survive. Get it? Because Will Smith is in it. Some stars are obviously Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonald, Ted Hirsch, and Robert Luglia, something like that. Where do I start this movie? I don't know. I mean, for a 1996 movie, I kind of think the CGI and the special visual effects, it did win an Oscar for best visuals. They still kind of stand pretty strong. I won't say the best, but they stand pretty strong for a 1996 movie. I know there's some kind of, oh, that didn't look good, especially with the ending with some of the explosions and all that, but I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, when the movie's practical, it looks really good. which is
Mhm.
most of it, I would say. I think most of it is practical, like the buildings being destroyed and stuff like that.
You know what? If I remember right, the scene where like you see the fireball going through the city, how it kind of looks CG. It's actually not. They filmed an explosion. Like they put the camera down on the ground and had the model up vertically, and then just like shot a actual fireball through it.
Oh, you learned this in class too?
I no, I don't remember where I learned it.
Just some random trivia. Pull out of-
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that the special effects were pretty good, believable at least for the most part. The alien is still pretty cool. Like especially the part where the alien is like out of his mechanical suit, I guess they call it, and he's just kind of like standing there. It's a pretty good model, pretty good thingamajig, whatever you want to call it, animatronic costume. Looks better than like, I mean, it's
Modern day stuff.
yeah. I mean, maybe not like, but I would say it looks better than like the reboot of The Thing, and like, there's so many other monster movies that'll just kind of like cop out and be like, oh, we'll just make it a CGI monster. At least in this movie, you got the real, well, quote unquote real alien standing there and doing his thing, and it makes it a little bit more believable at times. And this one, unlike the original Alien, doesn't really feel like someone in a suit. It does feel like it's actually an alien, which is cool. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the podcast.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, yeah. What do you guys think of like? I mean, I really don't want to go this deep into the movie already, but I felt like in this movie the aliens are portrayed kind of weak. In this, they in the synopsis it says fighting superior technology. I'm like, I really didn't feel that. Like
The shields?
yeah, well, the shields, but it's just like once those shields go down, it's like, okay, that's it.
Well, yeah, they nuked
depend
the
on their
inside of the
shields and-
mothership. So yeah.
So my biggest, I didn't watch the second one. I've never seen the second one, but I did watch a synopsis of the second one. And just like in this movie, there's a line where it's like, oh, this is the whole race. They go planet to planet and destroy everything. And then there's a second movie and they come back somehow. but this should all be dead.
Somehow the aliens returned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Independence Day 2, and when I originally
It's been
saw
a
it,
while.
I wasn't like super jazzed about it, but I also didn't like hate it. I thought it was just kind of like
Yeah.
mediocre, average. Looking back on it now, it does kind of make this movie. I don't know. It just kind of like slaps this movie in the face because they're like, 20 years later, we've already rebuilt civilization, and all those people who
Yeah.
died, who cares? And the doctor guy, oh yeah, he's still alive, even though he was dead on the ground, and the guy checked his pulse, but he's still there. Yeah. Funny enough, the only person they couldn't get back was Will Smith. He didn't want to do it.
Well, the reason he didn't want to do it is because he wanted to do Suicide Squad.
Ah, yes, a much superior movie to this one.
Yeah.
Or well, Independence Day 2. I don't know. Suicide Squad and Independence Day 2 are kind of on the same level of
Mediocrity.
mediocrity. Thank you, Ted. I actually might hate Suicide Squad even more, but that's a discussion for
Wow.
maybe a later time.
I guess I know what I'm picking.
Oh yeah.
God, oh shit.
Oh no, I accidentally watched The Suicide Squad. Oh dearie me.
Darn. I mean, it is better.
Oh, I love The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, this is the Suicide Squad. I didn't see the. Did I see the first one? I don't think I saw the first one.
All right, I know what I'm recommending.
It
That'll
was
be a
awful.
discussion.
Then I heard the second one was so good, and it was on HBO Max at the time, and I was just like, yeah, sure.
You know what
check it
else is
out.
on HBO Max? Independence Day, the movie that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was
Well,
on
it's a-
Disney Plus. It might have been like Hulu. 'Cause I have
Oh
them
yeah, it
both
was
combined.
Hulu. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why I watched it so early. Is because my Hulu account was going to be over
Yeah.
closer to recording time, so I was like, I should watch this now.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah, so I did.
So the one thing that's kind of baffled me about this movie, Independence Day, um, is the size of the ship, like the mothership, when it's passing the moon. Shouldn't it be like visible to the naked eye with how big big it is?
Right?
I just don't get how like no one could see these ships until they were right on top of the planet and they were like stopped over like the cities. I feel like any amateur astrological person would be able to be like, hey, there's something weird like on the moon or coming past the moon.
Yeah, they would those things. I mean, they said it was a quarter of the size of the moon. Just it being that close to the moon would upset gravity so much that like there would be signs that it was there before they actually saw it.
Yeah, it's just kind of goofy how they're like, we don't know what it is, we can't see it, and you're like, didn't you just say it's like super huge, like a big ship? Like,
Oh, and the second one, it like one the size of the Atlantic Ocean, like lands or hovers right over Earth, if I remember right.
yeah, I don't know, I don't remember.
Which another one would be like, okay, well, the Earth just, I mean, you have an object that massive get that close to the Earth, we're all just fucked anyways.
We need Bill Nye to talk about this.
Yeah. Well, there's it's a YouTuber I like. He does well, it's a whole channel, but one of the guys on the channel does like these science videos every now and then. One of them was like, "What if the Universal logo was real and like circling the Earth?" And it's like, we're all dead.
Would you rather be wiped out by aliens or by the Universal logo?
Aliens, it's a little more respectable and not so much corporate greed.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess, I don't know. But either way, the aliens, if they just show up in a ship that big, that close, we're dead. We're just dead.
Yeah. Plus, when it blows up, when it just crashes down and just destroy everything.
It would eviscerate the
Like
landscape.
yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine how long it's gonna take to clean that up.
Well, apparently it didn't take them more than 20 years.
Yeah.
20
Or the
years is
second
a
movie.
pretty decent amount of time to build stuff. I feel like that's kind of more, a little bit more accurate.
With how big those things were and how, like,
But most of them were like destroyed completely, anyways. And then I guess they said they reused a lot of the technology and like learned, and we got the superior technology now.
well, spoilers
maybe-
for Independence Day 2, but the technology was not that superior.
Uh,
I think they have
They
because the beginning of that movie is like, oh, we have this super laser that can destroy anything that comes near us, and it's like taken out in like 2 seconds by like a small version of the mothership. It's like, oh, oops, guess that didn't work.
it's superior to us.
Yeah, yeah,
We have to remember, in 20 years, we're stealing their technology and learning from it. But they already had that technology, so in 20 years, they're just advancing their technology if they somehow exist again.
right, yes.
Like,
Very
that'd be
old.
like somebody coming after you with, like, I don't know, an Apple One, like a computer.
iPod
Oh,
Touch.
one.
Yeah, an iPod Touch, and being like, aha, I've learned your ways. I now can make an iPod Touch. You're like, cool.
I have an original MacBook. Fear me. I have a Zune.
The Zune, not
exactly.
the Zune.
See, exactly. It's like that, and they just again somehow, because supposedly they were all on the mothership, and there was no other race, or other aliens anywhere, but they kept on developing in death.
So, looping around here, Gritty was talking about how we didn't the technology or what did you say the something wasn't
The
believable?
aliens just didn't look as dominant as I expected them to be, I should say.
Yeah, kind of the same thing happens in War of the Worlds where they're like eviscerating the humans and then all of a sudden they're like, I have a cold, and they die, right? I think it might be kind of going along with that where it's like, oh, we took away their superior shielding technology and they're just as just as vulnerable as us, right?
Yeah.
But my problem with that is it's a massive ship, and it seems like they have unlimited fighters, and like you're telling me they don't like the thing's made out of paper mache or something like that. Like one missile just like eviscerates the outside of it. Like I understand when the hillbilly guy or the guy who was had sexual relations with an alien like he flew his ship into like the laser beam. I get that destroying the whole thing, but I mean the amount of damage from just like the small missiles. I just was like, you would think that they would, I mean this is a space ship. It's got to be able to survive like I don't know, hits from asteroids and random debris, like through space. Like,
it didn't get that destroyed by the missiles, though, right? I mean, it just kind of did a pecking on the surface.
Well, I don't know what kind of pecking you're doing, but those explosions were pretty big from those missiles.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't show that it was like tearing apart the inside, did they?
They didn't show any shots of the inside being destroyed, really.
Yeah, so they didn't care. They're just like, oh no, yeah.
Oh no.
It's just like, in Star Wars, when they blow up, they shoot their missiles and stuff at the Death Star, and the people right next to that might be shook up a bit and suffer a little damage, but the rest of the ship's fine. It's not until you throw a nuke on the inside.
Well, the nuke was only in the mothership.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, okay, should hit their vulnerable underbellies when they're about to fire their big laser.
Yeah, it's a good thing there's a gas line going from one end of the ship to the other end of the ship.
Yeah. They didn't think that through.
But
hey, it's like the Death Star, They didn't think that through either, so.
Yeah.
Well,
everything
Rogue One explained that. Thank you.
Yeah, that he did it on purpose because he didn't like them.
Actually.
Yeah. Come on, greedy.
But yeah, like the little ships too. I feel like their shields wouldn't be knocked out. I guess it was a virus, wasn't it? But like, I don't know. If they weren't connected to the network at the time, would they still have their shields? I don't know.
I mean, I would assume that they're all connected to the network at all times. The mothership. Those are her drones, and her drones.
Yeah. All right. Didn't really have a problem with it. I was just trying to see it from a different perspective there, but
For sure. Well, I mean, the more I guess outlandish thing would be that he could actually create a computer virus that affects their system.
Yeah, it's a good thing that the aliens use Windows XP still. They didn't upgrade the Vista yet.
Yeah.
They were using Windows 95.
Yeah, I did try to in my head justify it, and how I think the writers tried to justify it, where they were using our systems to communicate, which means they were open. We could access those systems, and David probably was just like, I'm just gonna put some random code in here. I don't know what it does with their systems, but it'll make it so their systems run into an error and just shut down.
Yeah.
If their coding is anything like our coding.
And even if it wasn't, they still had to use our coding for the satellites and stuff, so.
Yeah, true.
Like you said, there was a vulnerability that was exploited.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I take that back what I said earlier. They didn't, it's a good thing they didn't upgrade the Windows Vista because that probably would have slowed their systems down anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually all he did. He tried updating their software to Vista, and their computers couldn't handle it. So.
Oh no, somebody did an upgrade. It's got to shut down for 6 hours while it reboots.
I don't know how to use this OS. I've never seen a start button like this before.
Good times.
You know what, those robotic suits they had, they could have just done a land invasion after doing the massive beams from space, you know.
And they were getting ready to do that. You see that when they're flying through the mothership. They're amassing their ground troops.
What? They're taking their time though.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. It just seems like, the aliens weren't so smart, as we are used to. Just in this movie.
They're used to getting to a planet when that planet is still at its caveman era. I guess.
But then why would they need the giant laser beam to take out cavemen?
Right. Well, they did apparently, do some reconnaissance on us and knew, oh shit. Their intel was from, the 50s, so they're like, oh, okay, this should be pretty easy. We just take out their main cities, and then, there'll be pushovers. But they forgot that we, develop past that time too.
I find the visual pretty funny of just like a group of cavemen or cave women around like a fire, and all of a sudden it's like just for like 3 cavemen. You're like, yeah, we had to test the laser somehow.
Yeah. I think it's funny. So when the one guy, the pilot, the redneck pilot guy who's been abducted before, and he's like, "I'm back," I just picture in my head like a narrator, Arrested Development narrator voice who's just like, "Actually, these aren't the aliens who abducted him."
Actually, those aliens abducted him, had sex with him, and left.
They were just in it for the sex. Yeah, they weren't
Yeah.
actually doing anything with.
They actually, they just made a pornographic film and left. And
Yeah.
you can actually
But
get that
called on
on
them.
from Blockbuster. It's called Pootie Tang. An old Scary Movie 3 reference for y'all.
Yeah.
So I thought the like build up to the alien like destruction was pretty good in this movie. I feel
Yeah.
like they do a good job of like showing what the government's doing, showing what the other characters are doing. I think that this movie does have too many characters, which is kind of a usual thing for Roland Emmerich, but it definitely just like shuffles around too many. I feel like we could have just had like obviously have Will Smith be like a side character, then have the president and David be like the 2 main characters that you see the movie through.
Well, you see, because it cuts to Will Smith's future wife, the president's wife, the random shots of the gay friend who gets killed.
Yeah, rip to that guy. Damn. I mean, there's a lot of those shots where it's just like here's a random character with no name standing around and whatever. It's like, yeah, I get it. You need those like shots of like people standing there in awe or whatever. But like sometimes it was just kind of bizarre. Like when the police officer just jumps out of his car and causes like a massive pileup because he just jumps out and starts staring. It's like, I mean, you've already shown like 3 other people, like shots of people doing this. Like we don't need like 15 more after that initial like one.
I think it's also fun. David, sends the friends away. He's like, "Go, get out of here, get out of here!" And like everyone else went down to the bomb shelter. Everyone in that bomb shelter probably survived.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Vivica Fox, Will Smith, like survived in a closet in a tunnel.
A closet in a tunnel that had no door on it.
Yeah.
Which,
and then like when they showed the shot of her climbing out, like the back wall is gone. It's like, if she survived that, if you were down in a bomb shelter underground, you're surviving. Most likely. I mean, they could have collapsed on you and you might be stuck down there, but you're alive. And there's probably supplies down there.
Probably.
Probably.
The budget was too short for food, but you have a bunker. And here are some sleeping bags on the concrete floor. All right.
We're good. We're good for a few days until we start eating each other.
Yeah, this compare. I recently also watched the Godzilla movie from Roland Emmerich from 1998. And I still really like that movie. Like, give me that Godzilla movie over like the 2014 Godzilla, or even like the more recent Godzillas. Like, I still enjoy that one a lot. It's very goofy, but it's unapologetically 90s, just like this movie. Like those two movies were released like 2 years apart from each other, and they just emanate that 90s nostalgia where it's like the technology is like still kind of analog, and we're just getting like cell phones that are portable, and like this era of technology is always so fun, especially if it's like a sci-fi adventure. Like the one thing I really love about like something like Alien or Aliens, like it's very much like of the time where they thought that the technology was going, right? And like watching these 90s movies, it does kind of feel a bit like almost alien or foreign when you look at like the devices that they're using. Like, what the hell is he using there? Oh, it's a freaking like landline, but it looks like a whatever. It just I love that aesthetic and the Godzilla movie and this one definitely pour on like the whole 90s era. Like it's just 90s. That's all I see when I watch these movies.
Yeah. I will say, watching this, like, 'cause I haven't seen this since I was younger. I don't remember when last I saw it, but watching it now and, like, understanding a little bit more how, like, politics work and stuff. All those scenes with, like, the president and the government stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, I get this now. Whereas a kid, I was just like, get to the fun, get to the explosions, get to the...
I was kind of still
Alien.
like that.
I mean, it's still a little bit, but at least now I understand it.
Yeah, it kind of meandered here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, he didn't want to like create a panic or whatever and evacuate the city right away. He wanted to try and be friendly with the aliens, and I get it, but giant spaceship above, New York or wherever, probably gonna
Hovering there,
leave town.
menacingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there menacingly.
Wow. So I looked it up because I'm not from the East Coast, so I don't know. But from New York to Washington is like just under a 4-hour drive, which means the aliens just sat there, getting into position, and by the looks of it, were in position, and then still just sat there for another like 3 to 4 hours.
Well, they had to sit there. They had to had coffee and then strategize.
Well,
And
they had to make sure David made it to the White House.
Right.
yeah.
And his dad was driving slow. I mean, there was no traffic, but his dad was also driving slow, so it probably took him like 4.5 hours, 5 hours. But I do find it funny that, like, yeah, the freeway out of the city, one direction was packed, and then the other direction was not. Even though it's like, well, this one leads to Washington D.C. and there's another one there. It's like, yeah, but it's 4 hours. There's so many different like turnoffs and everything. Like, I just find it weird that everyone was just using one freeway out, one direction to get out of city when they feel terrorized or afraid.
How many people live in New York? Probably all the freeways were exactly the same, really.
No, they show that like the one David and his dad were on was empty because it was heading towards the White House.
Wait. Oh my gosh, you're right. Why wouldn't that one be busy?
Right? Because it's like, yeah, I mean, there's 4 hours between you guys in the White House. You could get off at some point, just be like, hey, we're out of the city, we're out of Washington, we're good.
I never thought of that, and I don't think the film director thought of that either.
Yeah.
They're like, no one's going to think about that.
No, I did
Hey,
because
go
I
make
was
some
curious. I was curious how far away, like how long of a drive was it? Because like as a kid, I just like, oh yeah, that's probably like a 20-minute drive. No one wants to take that freeway because you're just going right to another one. But yeah, so I looked it up and was like, 4 hours. Like that's 200 miles. So yeah, I just thought that was silly, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, never thought of that.
Because I also would first like they show traffic so bad in the city and stuff. And I was like, oh well, how is he going to get out of the city? He technically should have been stuck in traffic too, just like his friend who they left at the same time was.
Yeah. Hmm.
The plot needed him to move. I don't know. I think it would have been better if they had just put him in Washington.
Yeah. Why even have him in New York?
Well, you have to show New York get destroyed. It's like you still can.
Yeah, you still can. Yeah. You could have another character, or just use the gay guy.
Yeah. Yeah, a character we would love so much that you buried your gays. Classic 90s thing. Is anyone not familiar with that?
I guess not.
It's where they just kill off the gay character.
Oh.
It happened a lot in the
No.
90s, where they'd like, see, we have a gay character, we're inclusive. We're going to kill him, though. I hope that's okay.
They do that a lot with black actors too. They're always
Yeah.
the first ones to die.
Yeah. Yeah, well, after they moved on from black people, they moved on to gay people.
Someone has to be discriminated against, I guess.
Exactly.
And it's going to be the short people and then
Yeah.
just women and
No,
children. Nerd nest.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, that kind of stuff still happens to this day, honestly.
No,
And,
Yeah.
like
100%.
I remember one of the most egregious ones was like it chapter 2, where like just two random gay men just randomly get killed, or well,
Yeah.
the one guy gets killed for seemingly no reason other than like we had to kill someone, and a lot of people are gonna be like sad when this guy dies, right? Even though we know nothing about him other than he's gay. Just very bizarre, very weird.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's how. I mean, like, yeah, definitely is still that way. 90s is where it kind of started. So they
Yeah,
had to kill him
that is
off.
true. I hate shock factor kills like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that one wasn't. I mean, that one they killed the whole city, so it's like, all right, fine. It wasn't just one person. Like I'm thinking of Jurassic World where they kill off that the assistant chick who was like just like never did anything wrong, and then they like murder porned her.
Yeah, she gets like eaten by like 3 different animals in that movie.
Yeah, she just gets passed around, and yeah, eventually gets eaten. And you're just like, what did she do to deserve this? And then like the main bad guy gets an off-screen kill.
Right?
You're like, cool. Well, I remember when that came out, they were so excited, like, we finally killed a woman in Jurassic Park. Like, cool.
We
Thank
did
you.
it.
Yeah, you're so proud of
Sexism is
that.
over.
Yay.
Yeah. 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 Anyways, where were we?
We've been dancing around the movie for quite some time here.
I still enjoy this movie. It's still fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, it's
fun.
a fun, dumb kind of movie.
It's a very nostalgic movie.
It's definitely just a summer blockbuster movie. You turn your brain off and just watch people explode and die and
Nice.
save the day.
My favorite pastime, truly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Crazy is, we still consider, are there aliens out there? Even in 2024, and I know there was a big scare of, oh my God, aliens in the 90s too. So
That's
true.
been going on since the 50s.
That is true.
Yeah, at this point, we have so many movies where we kill aliens. They're gonna, if they ever come around, they're gonna be like, "Are you guys okay?" Like,
Yeah. There's,
we,
I
so
think,
we
a
got
doctor.
we got transmission. It was called Battlefield LA or whatever, Battle LA, and y'all were killing us left and right.
I think there's a Doctor
down,
Who
what the
episode.
fuck?
Yeah, there's a Doctor Who episode where he's like, "You have a movie called Alien. How racist can you guys be?"
You guys have a movie called The Human Centipede. What the fuck?
Yeah, maybe we
You
What are
guys
y'all doing
okay
down there?
mentally? And we'll
That's
be
why
like,
they
no.
haven't invaded us yet, because we're
Yeah.
just fucking insane.
They're like, they will kill each other. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's really what it is. Like, that problem will deal with itself. Don't worry.
Yeah,
They just have like cameras on us 24/7. Like we are their entertainment, is what it is, and they
Yeah,
just don't want
Truman
to disturb
Show.
it.
Truman World.
Yeah, the Truman Show.
Yes.
World.
It's like WandaVision, but opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That sounds fun. I'm gonna write that screenplay. You guys will get a credit.
Oh, good.
All right.
Yeah. Don't worry.
The
I'll look out for you.
aliens all along.
It was aliens all along.
Yeah, I just like imagine like the Bill and Ted type thing where like the aliens create a whole culture around like the room or whatever movie gets like beamed to them randomly.
Yeah.
They're like, this Tommy Wiseau guy, he is our god, and they come down to Earth and they're like,
I mean,
we
that's
love your
I guess
movie, The Room.
that is the plot of Galaxy Quest.
You're right, it is.
Or like the Scary Movie 4, or is it 3, where they get the 3 days to die.
Yeah, they
the-
We
came.
don't want to die.
Yeah, they came down to to fight Samara, or whatever they called her in that movie.
You guys have a clown named It, and we are terrified. Can we,
Actually, his name is Pennywise. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, it.
That does bring up
Doesn't ring a bell.
like if there was an iteration of aliens coming to Earth, like which would you rather have? Which movie universe would you rather be in?
Um,
I mean, Arrival turned out pretty good for everybody.
That's a good pick. I was
Yeah.
thinking After Earth.
Mm.
I'm
I
kidding.
didn't see After Earth, so
No, don't. No, that's a joke for the people who've seen
Okay.
After Earth.
Yeah, I know it's bad.
You know, man, because I was gonna say like, oh, you could be in the Mass Effect universe, but then again, I don't want to have to deal with the Reapers. So, but if I could like be in the Mass Effect universe well before that, but like, you know, not too far before, where it's like the war with the between the species. I kind of want to be in there when it's like, okay, you have like this 50-year period where the humans are accepted on the Citadel, and then the Reapers come, and I can just be like, okay, well, that was a fun ride. Let's go.
What about you two? Ray? Greedy?
What?
Mars and Eve's moms be in that universe where the Martians steal the mothers or whatever.
I don't know what universe that'd be in.
Yeah, there's not too many like good options. Like, oh, The Happening or whatever. Like, oh boy. What's the one where the aliens can't touch water?
Oh, Signs.
Signs. Yeah, that actually, you know what? That one might not be too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I live right next. Well, we live right next to the Great Lakes, so it's like, okay, bring it on, bitch.
True.
Had to be a
I
boat
will-
on.
I will happily live on Put-in Bay Island. 100%.
There you go.
Yeah.
What if it rains? That's the one thing I never like. What if it rains? Like, wouldn't all the aliens just die?
Yeah.
Are
Well, I
we
think
on
it's
the right
funny.
movie? Hold on.
Yeah, I was like, I
I'm
remember.
about to say, is
Signs
this a
was
quiet
the-
place or?
Oh, that'd be the worst.
Yes. Oh, I would never.
I mean, all you gotta do is get a bucket of water.
In Quiet Place,
Yeah.
are they
At a hose? Yeah.
allergic to water? And
Well, I mean, they drown. So, like, what if I just put an alarm clock underneath a bucket and he shoved his head into the bucket and drowned?
fair.
What if he just
Okay.
throw a noise thing into Lake Erie?
There you go. Yeah.
Hey.
Just
have
live
like a-
next to
like-
a waterfall.
You just have a constant like air horn in the middle of the ocean, and your problem's solved.
Although I guess no, know what? I'm not even. We're getting off track. No.
Nope, go. You've already started this statement. Now I'm curious.
I mean, the boat makes noise, and they don't go after the boat, so I don't think that plan would work.
Are you guys talking about the?
They went after the
Because I only
boat.
ever saw the first one. I never saw the second one or the prequel.
Well, we just saw the prequel, and they definitely were going after the boat, but they learned
but
like
they
that
couldn't
they
get it.
shouldn't go after the boat,
Yeah, they couldn't get the
so
boat.
they just
though.
ignore that one, that sound for some reason. They
So
kinda,
they
like,
would
follow
ignore
it
the
around, but-
constant. Yeah, they kept following it, but they would ignore the constant noise then.
I mean, yeah, that's why they're not like around waterfalls, I guess, because they know like, oh, this is
nothing.
this is nothing sound. But like that random chime in the distance, that's gotta be someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shirt ripping? Oh God, get him!
Yeah, who cares about the generator noise? The guy's shirt ripping, that's what we hear.
All right, Independence Day.
I mean, what is there to say about Independence Day? I think that like if this movie if it wasn't for like the goofy nature and like halfway through or maybe even more than halfway through, like Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum team up, and that's when I actually like started to really enjoy the movie because it's like they were a good dynamic that will never be replicated ever again. But before that, I was just kind of like watching the movie and generally enjoying it, but it was definitely a bit boring.
That was fun. Like, I think it had a pretty good pace overall. So, well, I take that back. It starts out a little slow.
Yeah, I'm about to say the beginning was a little boring.
Yeah, because the beginning first it immediately starts with the guy the guy you never see again. Like the station who first picks up the ship, and then the beginning definitely could be trimmed down, I think.
Yeah, it definitely could be maybe about.
Definitely doesn't need to be a 2-hour movie.
No, yeah, I could see it being trimmed down a lot more. Even though I like the build up at the beginning, it does meander a bit, especially with it kind of goes in circles for a little bit until it finally something starts to happen. But even later in the movie too, like I started to like zone out, like when nothing was really like before the final battle, before they take the ship into the mothership. I was starting to zone out again because I was like, oh man, like we are just not moving right now.
Yeah. Same.
And they were trying to have like these character moments that I mean, personally, just like skip. I mean, I didn't skip them, but I'm like, I would skip this if I wasn't watching this for a podcast. Like,
Yeah. Well, like David's whole thing, he's like this kind of hippie guy, and I guess at one point, at the end there, he's given the cigar and he's like, "I always thought these things would, be the death of me." But then he just like smokes it like a pro. So it's like, all right, well maybe it's because he used to smoke them, and then he's like, "No, this will kill me," so he stopped. Now he started again. I guess I don't know. So the moral of the story is, it's cool to smoke.
only cigars though.
Only cigars.
But yeah, the dynamic of like Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum were good though. I like
yeah,
when they
for
were
sure.
interacting, that was like the best
Yeah.
part of the movie. Like when they're in that ship and they're just talking back and forth or shooting the shit with each other. And then like
Forward.
during the entire escape, like Jeff Goldblum is just yelling and Will Smith's like, "Shut up. let me work. Let me do my thing."
Yeah. No, that was good.
And yeah.
Definitely the best part of the movie.
Yeah, and I really couldn't stand like the hillbilly guy or whatever you want to call him, redneck veteran guy. Like I could really have done without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And, like,
could have been left out completely.
He has like a tacked on family as well. It's like, how did this guy ever populate the earth?
Oh, I mean, judging by his kids, he probably met someone in Vietnam, and
I guess.
they
At
left
least
the
at least
first
the
chance they
one.
could get.
At least the one kid.
Yeah. I don't know. Both boys kind of looked like they had a little bit of ethnicity to them. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought so too. I thought that
Yeah.
was like, yeah.
Yeah, and I just always figured, yeah, it's because well, he's a Vietnam vet. He probably had a Vietnamese wife.
That's fair. I didn't think about that.
And they
You
could have all of, like the random characters. Like you cut out every single random character who adds nothing to this movie. You trim off like 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say if they got rid of that redneck, like you can easily just introduce somebody at some point, for a split second. Like when he's like, "We need pilots," he's like, "I'm a pilot, and those bastards, they sexed me up good, and now I want revenge." That's all you needed to get that line, "I'm back," and you're like, "Oh, okay, I get it." We didn't need a whole plot line to lead up to that one line, in my opinion.
I was sick of the couples. Kind of like what you guys were saying earlier.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to remember who was with who, and yeah, that was I was paying more attention to that, so I knew like that part of the storyline than I was like pretty much anything else.
Yeah, it's funny how like they find the president's wife and she's like, "Here I am," and she lives through like, the chopper ride back and all that, and then yep, she's just dead again. Could have just killed her off from the get go. Didn't really like on it. Like yeah, you get like the touching reunion, but she just dies anyway. So it's like okay. Is it really a tear-jerking moment if like we only saw her like twice in the rest of the movie?
Absolutely not. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I was
Who is
just
this
kind
again?
of, okay. I will say I didn't realize until this watching, because I looked it up, that the president's daughter is I'm trying to think of I don't remember her name, but basically she plays like the voice of Katara in like Avatar. She plays Mabel, I think her name is, in Arrested Development. She was in Scott Pilgrim. She was the evil
Yeah.
ex-lesbian girlfriend.
Oh, do you mean maybe?
Maybe, that's right. Maybe, not Mabel.
Yeah. Okay.
Her? Yeah. I didn't realize it was that. It was her. She's so young in that.
Mae Whitman?
Yeah, Mae Whitman. That's her name.
Oh my gosh.
She was such a baby.
She was such a baby. Oh. Oh my gosh. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, she's great. But anyways, yeah, definitely there was a lot that could be cut out of this movie, and it would still be a good movie and maybe better movie.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit better.
And well, yeah, and we short, more streamlined. You wouldn't have all the random we get it, okay.
Yeah, there was a similar problem in Godzilla where it just like you could have trimmed 30 minutes of that easily.
Oh, and that's just Emmerich in general, like all of his movies. I mean, what was
2012 just cut the whole
2012? Yeah.
movie, you know, that's fine.
Day After
Moonfall
Tomorrow.
just cut the whole movie.
Wait, Moonfall. Oh, he did Moonfall?
Oh, he did Moonfall.
I didn't see Moonfall, but
Oh yeah.
I'm aware of it. But yeah, like Day After Tomorrow, he did that one. I believe we watched that here, right?
Yeah, at least I mean
Yeah.
I remember kind of enjoying that one.
No, that's fun, but again, it suffered the same problem where it's just there's way too many characters that you just
Yeah, not enough destruction, too much
Actually,
characters.
don't care about.
Yeah, I mean I'm looking at my rating for the Day After Tomorrow, and I feel like I have to lower Independence Day because I would rather watch the Day After Tomorrow over Independence Day again, honestly.
I feel
Really?
you.
I think I'd watch Independence Day over Day After Tomorrow, but
No, there's more going on in Day After Tomorrow. I'm gonna rate them the same thing, just the
yeah. I mean, they're both like I said, they're both very just middle of the road, kind of fun blockbusters.
yeah.
You want to rewatch every so often.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd need to rewatch this one again. I mean, like I said, I mean, if it was on and like or whatever, I would probably like because even like 2012, even though I knew that was a shit movie, I watched that like 5 times a week at one point. I don't know why.
Jeez.
Well, that wasn't 5. I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating, but I feel like it was like I watched it like at least every 6 months for like a year or two, and I don't even know why. Because it's because the destruction's cool. You watch it for the destruction. You skip past all the meandering. You know.
Yemmy was trying to get all the memes.
Yeah, dude.
Dumb
Just trying to get ahead of the times there.
Are there a lot of memes that came from 2012?
Honestly, probably
that-
not really.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't remember.
There was an
It's sad it, didn't actually happen in 2012, so.
Yeah, that's. There's also.
Or the events didn't happen, I should say.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it did happen. I don't know.
I don't think it did.
That the whole thing with 2012 was just kind of jumping on that like fear of, oh, the Mayan calendar ended in 2012, so we're all dead, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But I mean, actually, there's a theme in Roland Emmerich's movies. It's in this movie. It's in The Day After Tomorrow. It's in 2012. I think it's in Moonfall, where there's a plane escaping like a giant explosion or whatever. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It was most egregious in 2012 because that plane was doing things that no plane should ever do with its size. At least in
Right.
this one, it's just like okay, it's going just a little bit faster than the explosion behind it.
Which I'm pretty sure explosions go way faster
Well,
than
yeah.
planes.
I remember 2012. It's the funniest scene. The dad is
Oh,
like
yeah.
running to try and catch up to the plane, and like the plane's already ready for liftoff, so he's like running at like 200 miles per an hour or whatever
Yeah.
someone estimated.
Yeah.
It's like the
As like
funniest
the
thing ever.
ground is like caving in behind him.
Yeah.
Well, and he's also got like all the crazy stuff they do with the limo.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Just it loops back around to what Tay said. It's at least fun. You know, fun to watch at times.
Right. Ray, was there any screamage parts that you didn't like throughout the movie?
Honestly, like the worst part for me was just the beginning when they were deconstructing the alien. That part was not my favorite, but other
You
than
talk
that,
about
like-
when they were when alien takes over the doctor and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only part I was like, oh, Ray's probably hating her life right now.
No, because I've watched like Alien, and that was worse.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually liked Alien. Like this movie definitely gave me like Alien mixed with Jurassic Park mixed with Twister vibes.
Well, in the 90s,
All three of those
full
movies better
like
than this one.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
That's it. The 90s were full of movies like those type of disaster movies. Emmerich is still doing them, but I think he's the only one at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there was
I mean,
that like
Twisters is getting a
There was a couple that were like towards the end of that where it's like that because there was like that Geostorm movie
oh yeah.
where they had like I don't know, like some kind of giant AI like controlling the weather, and that kind of went awry. I remember that one having. I mean, obviously there was the Sharknado movies, which there's like
Yeah.
6 of them at this point.
Yeah.
They're still out there, but they're less now. Like there was a time where it just felt like every single movie was a disaster movie.
Yeah.
San
Yeah.
Andreas, these movies that we've already talked about.
Yeah, the volcano ones, the meteor ones, the
There was like a Pompeii movie that came out where they tried to do like
well, there was
a love
Dante's
story.
Inferno. There was what was the because like for a while there was like 2 studios making like very similar movies like at the same time. I can't remember what the Dante's Inferno one was called. But yeah, then you had Armageddon and Deep Impact or whatever it's called, and
Sunshine. Yeah, there's a
No.
lot.
yeah.
Well, like you said, Yemmy, just trying to get on that fear mongering at the time.
Yeah.
Well, now they're
Well-
they're redoing they're making a sequel to Twisters.
Hey,
So
That is
or
true.
Twister.
don't you
which-
poo-poo my Twister sequel. I'm ready.
I'm actually kind of excited for
But like
it.
Twister, but Twister isn't like a disaster. I mean, obviously it revolves around tornadoes, but it's not like a disaster movie like
Yeah, it's not
these
focused.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
no,
like
for
it's not
sure.
like, oh, we're destroying entire cities with a giant tornado, or like in The Day After Tomorrow, it's like the 3 Twisters just combined and made a super tornado. Like it's nothing like ridiculous like that. It's very much
I'm pretty sure Twister had that, or at least judging by the trailer, the sequel has that. Unfortunately.
well. I mean, I haven't watched most of the trailers because I want to go in blind, but
Sorry, spoilers.
you know, the original Twister, I just like
No, the original
is it
Twister's
is it the
great.
best movie ever? No, but
no, it's
I think
fun,
that
though.
in terms of like disaster movies, like it's got a solid plot, it's got solid characters, and it's got like a solid premise.
Mhm.
Whereas most of these other movies that we've mentioned, they're missing 1 or 2 of those things to really glue them together.
Yeah. Now, a little bit I saw from Twisters, the trailer, it felt kind of like just the trailer gave like almost Hallmark movie vibes
Oh, good.
with Twisters.
I can't wait. That's the thing, though. Like, how do you really make a sequel to Twisters for 2024 or a 2024 audience? You know, you got to
Yeah.
add in younger characters. You got to add in, you know, the nostalgia for the older people like myself who are going to see it. You got to, you got to add in more action, more scientific mumbo jumbo, right? And the original movie already has a lot of that stuff where it's like, we're using these orbs to track tornadoes and we can prevent, try and, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
And that's very similar to the plot of the new one.
Right, yeah, I at least saw the orbs going into the sky. I was like, oh damn, it's
Yeah.
the orbs. It's
Yeah,
the
you see
orbs,
the
baby.
Well, but now they're going to come up with a new technology that'll be even better than the orbs.
Yeah, we'll
So-
see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
No joke. I'm watching like the home run derby on the second monitor, just muted and all that, and Twister. And there's a trailer on right now. How
Hey!
fun!
Yeah, I mean, it comes out the same day as NCAA 25, so
Friday. Yeah. Or
Friday.
Thursday. Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, I think it comes out Thursday midnight release Friday.
Yeah, it just said Friday, so there you go.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be
Nice.
able to watch it the first weekend, but I would, you know. I mean, you know, I like Twisters, the original one. I'll watch the, you know, however many years, 20, 30 years later sequel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is the
That'd be
movie
fun.
Twister or Twisters?
It's
The
Twister-
original was
yes. Well, yeah, the
Twister.
original is Twister. The new one is Twisters.
Ah,
They did the aliens thing. There's now more of them.
yeah, not just one, more.
I mean, in the first movie there were several twisters, but
They were spaced out though.
yeah, and they weren't combining.
Good thing Independence Day didn't follow that. Independence.
Independences, Independence
Independi.
Days, Independence
Days.
Days.
There you go. There you go.
Hey.
No, if I remember right, from what I saw in the little synopsis watch, they come again on like the 4th of July.
Yeah.
They just love attacking on that day.
Hey, it's now
Martha.
their holiday too. Their day of mourning.
Got 'em. All right. Anything else about Independence Day?
I feel like we should stop talking about like we should just keep talking about other things.
Yeah, we're filling in 7 movies so far in 1 episode.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say before. It probably doesn't matter. It wasn't related to Independence Day anyway, so.
Well, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah,
I think I've said my piece.
honestly, I've probably been done since like 30 minutes in.
I about to say it kind of sounds like we're all done.
I mean, we do keep talking about other movies. So.
It all relates. The disaster
Yeah.
movie.
It
though.
does. It does. It does. For sure.
Oh, I wanted to say, Alien and Aliens. I do really wish that they had called Aliens. Actually, no, I do like the name Aliens and
Mhm.
Alien. I think that's
No, 'cause it
actually
makes
a
sense.
good.
Yeah,
Because
the first one had one. The
Yeah.
second one has multiple.
right, I do actually like that naming convention, and as a person who likes Aliens more than Alien,
I mean, Aliens is
I do too.
is the better movie.
wow,
Alien
Ray
is
likes
great.
you like the second one better.
I do.
I'm actually
I
surprised.
do.
Yeah, no, I
Me
like
too.
Aliens better.
Yeah,
But
that's why
I
she
do.
just likes it in general.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Yeah.
I really
The
enjoy this.
first one,
But
it's
I
really
laugh
good.
a lot during
Yeah.
them.
Oh, that's fair.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
So
hey, it's your movie experience. Go ahead and
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah. The first one is really good the first time you watch it, but then kind of boring every time after.
yeah.
Well, the problem with the first one, in my opinion, and we'll probably, I mean, eventually we might watch this movie for the podcast or whatever, but the puppetry really shows its age. It
Yeah.
does. It does. Like,
Yeah.
there's moments where like the alien is like in the vent and like it's supposed to be like really scary, but it just looks like a guy like trying to crawl through a vent, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with the second movie, they did much better with like the practical effects and stuff, and
Well,
the
like, I remember-
implementation of the CGI.
I just remember rewatching the first one once by myself and just falling asleep.
Yeah, that
And
that
this
first
was like
one.
after like the chest burst scene.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
like
I
after that
died laughing at that scene. I had tears.
wow.
I was laughing
Oh,
so
my.
hard.
My maniacal
Yep.
laughing going
Yeah. I forget who I was watching it with, but they were like, "My God!" Like, but yeah, I actually really enjoy those movies.
All right, well, I'll keep that on the back burner for like a Halloween episode, maybe.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah!
All right, Greedy, you
So
want
I
to
was
start
about
us
to say
off?
some stuff about
Nope,
aliens.
nope.
I was like, no, I should save that until we actually
Yeah,
get it as a choice. Sorry,
we could
go
do
ahead.
we
Reed.
could do a double feature for Halloween: Alien and Aliens,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
and if you
I'm
so
down.
desire, Alien Cubed. But I don't
Well-
know.
Watch the director's cut, and it's slightly better.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Greedy, go ahead and
Yeah.
start us off with the final rating and review.
All right, Independence Day, 1996. Very nostalgic movie. Like we said, it's a very fun movie. It can be boring at times, here and there. The acting, like Yemmy said, Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. Just once they started connecting, it just got fun from there. Just like I said, I've seen this before, and it was just a good rewatch for nostalgia when I was a kid. Visuals are okay. I mean, like I said, they're not the greatest, but it still holds up pretty well for a movie from '96. Acting was good. Little too many characters, as we said. I'm gonna give this just a middle of the road rating, 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. For me, I mean, it's very similar synopsis there. It's fun. It's a good time. It's nostalgic. It's just a little too many characters sometimes, and too much just going between them, and the story does weave all the threads together pretty well, I'll say. But we didn't need all those threads. But overall, yeah, same. I'd give it probably a 3.5 as well.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie, it exists, and it was one that I watched, and I'm trying not to be like too hard on it because I just didn't enjoy it.
Express yourself. It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay,
Be as hard
so
on it as you want.
I got really bored. Like 45 minutes in, I was kind of already over it. And I wasn't that impressed at all. Including the CGI for 96, especially if we do, compare it to like Twister and like Jurassic and that kind of stuff. Thought it was really bad. Didn't even care for Will Smith in it, and not even because of
The slap.
no,
Yeah,
not
we
even
didn't even
because
talk
of
about
that.
that.
I just didn't really appreciate his acting. I thought it was just mid. I thought this movie was very, very mid. But I'm gonna give it even a lower score than mid. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. This movie like doesn't really have like the A-list. I mean, Jeff Goldblum. Well, not even. I don't know. Maybe back in the day he wasn't really. He was just coming off of Jurassic Park, so there's not really
Yeah.
too many A-list actors in this one. Like even Will Smith, like he was still doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or maybe he was just done with it. So it is interesting to see it from that context, where it's like most of these actors and stuff are not like huge, but the movie still made tons of money even without the big names in there.
I mean, Bill Pullman was pretty big, and Jeff Goldblum at that point, I think, was pretty big.
Heartthrob.
Oh yeah, both heartthrobs. But yeah, Will Smith definitely. This was early in his career, so yeah, his acting's not as good as he became, later stuff.
But yeah, that all being said, I'm closer to Ray than I thought I was going to be. Because a lot of the movie was just kind of like, okay, we're here, we're doing it. I mean, sure, like it was cool when the action started to pick up, and I do disagree. I think that the effects look pretty good. I think like the practical stuff when they blew up the city and stuff was pretty good. But yeah, it's just kind of the same problem as the other disaster movies we've already mentioned. There's just too many characters to keep track of. Some like nonsensical stuff, like random scenes happening with random characters you don't know. Could have been on the editing room for a little bit longer. And I was going to give it a 3, but I realized that like I would rather watch Day After Tomorrow. I would rather watch Godzilla, which are both the same director. I gotta put it like around that same area. But even then, it's like if I would rather watch Godzilla and I would rather watch, The Day After Tomorrow, like should I put this at a 2? But no, I don't think it's a 2. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because I think it's still like decent, but like I think it's below average for sure. But a lot of movies that I think are dumb and fun go in the 2.5. I gave Batman and Robin a 2.5, and I would gladly watch that again. So the 2.5 range is kind of like my dumb, fun, enjoyable movies, but not high art, That's where we're at.
All right.
All right, Tay, it is your turn to pick a movie.
So I have 2 options for you guys.
Ooh.
I'm going to kind of, they're basically, this movie is, an apocalypse type scenario with aliens. So I have 2 options for you: an apocalypse scenario without aliens, or just an alien movie.
See, I would rather know which movies you're thinking about, because
Just say 1 or 2.
There's a broad range of stuff there.
Give me 1 or 2. And I'll mix them up in my head.
Okay, I'll say 1.
I'll say 2.
Oh. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, my heart says 2.
2. All right. I am going to make us watch Arrival from 2016, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Nouveau?
Villeneuve, I think it is.
Nueve. Okay. Taking place after alien crafts land around the world, an expert linguist is recruited by the military to determine whether they come in peace or are a threat. Stars Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker, Michael Stolbarg, and then it just gets to a lot of different names of people that no one will recognize.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've seen it once. I remember liking it, so it'll be fun to revisit.
I've never heard of it.
You know,
Oh,
I had a slight hunch
okay.
that you're gonna say this one when you brought it up during the
Yeah,
episode.
well, it's fine. As I hadn't been thinking about it, and then when I mentioned it in the podcast, I was like, oh, actually, that kind of fits the theme too of if disaster movie or aliens. So that's why I'm like, I'll add it and let you guys decide.
Yeah, I've never seen this one, but
I've never
I
seen
was
it.
interested in it when it originally came
Yeah.
out, so
It's
should be
actually-
a cool.
Yeah, I remember.
watch.
I remember liking it when I saw it. So, but
Unfortunately,
that
I
was
only see Amy Adams as Lois Lane
Lois Lane.
from this point on, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and keep that away from my mind. Even like Jeremy Renner, it's Hawkeye. What's he
Yeah.
doing there?
Yeah,
Gonna try and
For
keep
sure.
that out of my brain.
for sure. I understand.
Curiosity. What was the other movie you're gonna?
Yeah, it
recommend?
was number one.
I mean, I'll be picking it eventually. So
Oh,
I don't know.
alright.
Should
Ooh.
I keep it secret? I think so.
Okay, keep it a secret. Keep it a secret. All right.
Yeah.
Keep your
It's from the audience. I might tell you guys once we're done recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, all right. If you don't want to be spoiled, or if you want to join the conversation for Arrival from 2016, make sure you watch that before the next episode airs in 2 weeks. You can find it on pretty much the usual spots: Amazon, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Apple whatever, Apple
Music?
TV. That's what it is.
Oh.
Uh,
Why did I say music? I think because you said podcast.
yeah, it's all pretty much the same.
God, I'm sorry. Continue.
But yeah, make sure you watch it before the next episode airs, and we'll reconvene to talk about that. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, or I don't know if you will, but if you did, make sure you give it a like on YouTube or give the podcast a rating, and make sure you follow it as well. Keep up to date with the latest stuff on the Film Freaks podcast, and also don't forget, if you want to suggest a movie for the fan vote, which will be happening in the next episode, make sure you send us an email, comment on the latest episode on YouTube, or join us in the Discord for the movie stuff discussions. All right, it's that time. Anyone have any small recommendations for the episode?
I don't.
All right.
healthy.
I do.
Yeah, stay healthy. Try not to get COVID.
Yeah, don't get COVID.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched anything like super good recently, but I would like to say that I recently watched the original Nosferatu from like 1926.
Oh yeah.
It's available on YouTube, and boy, has filmmaking come a long way. I tell you what.
Yes, it has.
But there are some moments that are pretty cool in there. Like there's a moment where he's like rising from the coffin. There's a scene where he's like biting the girl's neck in the dark, which is pretty creepy. There's a couple of stuff. There's like a couple of moments in the movie that are like really good, but for the most part, it's like it's just such a. I mean, I say the word meandering in this episode already, but it is like a meandering movie where like nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, Nosferatu comes around. And it's like, okay, now it's interesting for about 5 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is just back to being dull or incomprehensible because they didn't really know how to make movies back then. They were just kind of like shuffling scenes around and putting random characters in, almost like Roland Emmerich does nowadays. But
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, I've seen some old movies that are actually coherent. Not many, but there are some.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course there's always some out there. But
Some people knew kind of what they were doing.
and I wanted to watch it because there's that new version of Nosferatu coming out, and I'm interested to see how they do it, how they do it. But it was at least it was like interesting. I mean, was it good? No, but it was interesting, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's available on YouTube for free. So I mean, why not?
No, yeah.
Well, I will say I do have like one recommendation. If y'all like cooking shows or just like I don't know, shows like that in general, there's
Perhaps.
a show on Netflix called the American Barbecue Showdown, and it
Ooh.
is so good. Like, I learned a lot about barbecuing that I had no idea about before. So like, there's 3 seasons on there. I binged 2 of them. It's awesome. But 10 out of 10. Recommend.
I may perhaps check that out because I do like a cooking show.
Love
Yeah.
a good cooking show.
It's fascinating.
Every Tuesday, my work watches at lunch. It's always on at noon. It's called like grocery parking lot cookout or something like that.
Oh,
Awesome. They have to
Is
like
it?
buy like like their ingredients from customers that are walking out of the store. It's awesome. And they have to cook in the parking lot. It's really fun.
Yeah, I have seen a bit.
yeah.
of
I think
that
I think I
show
watched
before.
an episode or 2 of that. It wasn't too bad.
The buying stuff from other people, like other customers, definitely.
Yeah, there was like one
Yeah,
episode
that too.
where a lady was like, "I'll give you $100." It was like for some like butter or something like that, and like apparently she gave the old lady money, but apparently this old lady ended up coming back and just walking on the middle of the set, like didn't give a care in the world, and she's like, "You said $100 and you only give me 50," and we're just like, "Oh my god!" I
What's
was
in
like,
here,
"You're trying to
Sonny?
cheat out, you cheating out grandma."
It's like, listen here, you got butter for $50, and then you could go back and buy it or pick another one off the shelf.
Yeah, but if you say
$100
$100,
is
you
$100.
gotta,
Yeah,
that's
no,
it.
she definitely should have given him the 100.
All right.
Hmm.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. This has been another episode of Film Freaks with a Z. Thank you for listening. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with.
Pretty waffles.
Claymation.
Great positivity.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.